In today's episode of Not Nice Clever, we're talking to you about slow and steady growth. Yep, I said it. Slow and steady growth, okay? Because in a world like today, where overnight success and instant results are the shiny object that everyone is chasing, I want to remind you that slow and steady does win the race. Real, lasting success is not built in a day, it's built through consistent, intentional effort over time. And I talk about this to my clients all the time. Kat talks with our clients about this all the time. It's that idea of going viral is the thing. That's what you want. That's how you become famous. And really collecting a library of content that tells the story of who you are and who you help and how you can help them is the real thing that's going to allow you to serve in the way that makes the most sense to you. Not going viral. Okay. So today we're going to talk about what to look for, how to make something really meaningful. And if you have been feeling the pressure to rush or to get instant results and you're not seeing that right now, then this episode is for you.
So, the first thing we want to talk about is that even though going viral or growing really quickly seems cool and seems sexy and is the shiny toy of today in like the era of digital and us having our smartphones in our hands, like the world at our fingertips, it is often not sustainable. And it can lead to burnout. It can lead to exhaustion, fatigue, poor decisions, you lacking like systems to feel organized, like frazzled in your day to day. Like it's not the outside looking in might look great. Oh, you go to your profile and you see a viral piece of content or you got featured or this or that. But it's like, how are you actually in your day to day? How are you feeling? How are you operating? And we always want to make recommendations and build a life that is sustainable, that is built for the long term. Because Candace and I have noticed like the people that we admire, that we look up to, that we partner with, that we collaborate with, they did not become successful overnight. And I'll even use a recent example. I can't remember who had shared it with me, but they were talking about Sabrina Carpenter and how it seemingly all of a sudden she is successful and she's getting featured and she's on SNL and it's like espresso and all of this and blah, 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 like that song, right? Guys, she's been making music since 2014.
Right. 10 years.
10 years, y'all. And
My
it's like, oh,
gosh.
she just came out of nowhere. Be like, no, bitch. Just
Right.
it finally came together. It finally happened. But it's like 10 years of trying and showing up and experimenting and learning and failing and all
Yes.
of that. All you see is her on SNL now. There's plenty more that has happened before she was even on your radar that
That's so
contributed to her
crazy.
success, isn't it?
Yeah. And this reminds me of a story too. Giselle
Mm.
Ugardi, she's a good friend of mine. We had her on our podcast a while back. We'll link it for you. If you haven't listened to that episode, you
It's
need
a
to.
great
It's
episode.
so good. She posted on LinkedIn recently and she got to share the stage with Trent Shelton.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if y'all are familiar with Trent Shelton, but he's incredible. And so is
Mm-hmm.
Giselle. And so she shared the stage with him, posted pictures about the event that they were at together. And it was amazing for her to be able to be on stage with someone who's built such an incredible brand like Trent. And in this LinkedIn post, she shared screenshots of DMs that she had sent Trent 5 years ago. 5 years ago, she sent him DMs that were like, this was incredible. Like, I love listening to this or whatever. Like, this was great. Can't wait to share the stage with you one day. 5 years in the making before that ever happened. And maybe even at a time when Trent, I don't even know if he responded to that DM. Okay. But she knew she had a goal, she had a vision, she had a focus. And then people will say, oh, look at all of the sudden, here she is doing all this cool stuff. No, not all of the sudden. Okay. Because this is something that she has been working on for a really, really long time. And I think that that it's easy for people who are trying to explore personal branding or trying to get into the social space to be like, oh, well, it happened overnight for that person. And the reality of it is, it's pretty rare that it happens overnight.
And even rarer that it lasts
Yes,
from that overnight success, right? Like
exactly.
another analogy or like example I'll share before we share the other two tips here is people saying that Ryan Serhant, right, who we work with, he's famous and successful only because he was on a TV show. And I think back to how many reality shows there are, how many seasons those reality shows have been on for, and the dozens of cast members on each season of every reality show that there has been since even Real World, right? Like
Yep.
so dating myself there. And how many of them have been able to leverage that and really amplify it into the multi-million, billion-dollar, multi-industry like business that he has, and that other notable former reality TV stars have done. Like it is that is definitely a leg up. It is not the thing that created long-term
And
growth.
also, he got that role. Like, he was able to obtain that position to put himself in a place
Mm-hmm.
to be in front of people. I
Yeah.
think recently someone on the team had mentioned that he has more views on YouTube than he ever got on Million Dollar Listing.
Yep. And those early vlogs are the things that I hear people talk about, the people that have been following him for years, right? That didn't
Yep.
just hear about him, you know? So it's long-term people, which takes
Long
us to the
term.
next tip.
Yes.
Candace, what's this next one?
This next one is to focus on consistency and not speed. Consistency is key because when our clients come to us and they want to focus on speed and they say, we're going to post every day, Candace. We're going to post 3 times a day, Kat. We're like, wait, what? Because what's going to happen is 3 weeks in, you're going to give up and burn out. And
Yeah.
we'd rather you post consistently 2 or 3 times a week
Mm-hmm.
and just start there
Mm-hmm.
than burn yourself out and go all in and not be able to make it sustainable. So,
Mm-hmm.
progress over perfection, the tiny steps add up to something huge. We say it all the time, but social media and showing up online is like working out. You don't want to
Mm-hmm.
do it 7 days a week. You do need to take breaks, you need to allow for rest, and you're going to see results with consistency, but consistency doesn't mean every day if that doesn't make sense for you in your life.
Yeah. The need to rush, the arbitrary pressure or like arbitrary goals or the comparisonitis that you're putting on yourself that you're experiencing, it's not going to help you. And so it's consistency doesn't sound sexy, but the results are sexy over time. And you not being burnt out and hating your day to day is also fantastic. And we want that for
We
everybody
want that
like
for you.
listening and watching. Yeah. Okay. The last tip, and this is one as canned as it sounds that I have heard so many people that I look up to say, one of which was Chris Doe, who we had on a prior episode, where I was talking about like reaching an end destination. And he was like, well, let's not just think about that. Let's think about enjoying the journey as much as we do. He's like, but because who's to say there even is an end destination?
Yeah.
And I was
There's
like, oh,
In my experience, there's never an end destination. Every time I reach that thing that I think I want, there's the
yeah,
next thing or
right.
new idea.
Mm-hmm.
There's always
Yep.
something.
So, in order to stay motivated, right, and interested and excited, right, keeping your energy up along the way, we like to remind you to not just look at and measure success um, based on like the on paper metrics, the typical business metrics like revenue generated, cash collected, email list subscribers, social media following, right? Those are like the on paper hard metrics that you should track. But there's other ones too, like off paper ones, right, Candace?
Yes. So an off paper metric might be something like how confident you feel in front of the camera. Maybe 6 months ago, you didn't feel confident at all. And now you just pick up your phone without even thinking about it and record a segment for your Instagram stories. And it's not even a second thought. Or
Mm-hmm.
maybe an off paper metric is I used to take an hour to record and edit a reel, and now I take 10 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there are things that you might not be looking at. It might be that you go into a conference or a meeting and someone says, "Oh, I see your content." Maybe they're not
Mm-hmm.
liking, maybe they're not commenting. There's no number that you can actually measure with
Mm-hmm.
ease, but they're talking to you about their content. That means you're in
Mm-hmm.
front of them. They're seeing you. And those things are the beginning metrics that will allow you to know that you're on the right path. But maybe
Mm-hmm.
they're not the sexy metrics that you want to track because you do want to see it impacting your follower count or you do want to see it impacting your revenue. But those signs, the off metric signs, are telling you that the other things are coming.
Mm-hmm. And that you are actually making an impact.
Yeah.
Because, like, to make money, yes, we all have to live, we all have to survive, we have bills to pay, families to provide together with. But the thing that does keep me going on the days when I'm not so feeling great, or I don't see income coming in, or I have a client leave, or I have to fire a client, the things that keep me going and really like light me up and lift me up is that anecdotal data of
Mm-hmm.
people like hopping on a client
It's
session,
the
and
clever crew sliding into our DMs and saying, "Oh my
it
gosh, this
is
really you talked to the thing that I'm struggling with right now. Thank you." Right?
right.
Or I sent this episode to my friend because it was so helpful.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's not, doubling or tripling our follower count, but that is letting us know that we're doing work that's making an impact and makes us want to do more.
Hmm. The follower count will rise by a byproduct as long as you are focusing on the things that will help you sustain and build long-term success, which is why we wanted to record a mini specifically on this for you guys.
The last thing, if you haven't
Mm.
already, leave a 5-star review. What are you even doing if you haven't? Okay. And then send this to a friend. Thanks. Thanks for joining us on Not Nice, Clever.
Remember to follow Not Nice Clever wherever you listen to audio.
And if you haven't already, drop that 5-star review.
Share your takeaways, tell us your story. We love to hear it.
Signing off, you're not so nice, but oh so clever besties that mean business.
See you soon.